Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Week 17, the Fantasy Championship weekend is upon us. We have a lot of games under our belt already. So the Sunday slate, not as many games as we're normally accustomed to, but we do have a bunch of player news and things to get into, and then we'll start answering start-sit questions. So good morning, everyone. Thanks for hanging out today. And I'm going to start reading that player news that we just mentioned. I'm looking at Adam Schefter's reports, and last night he had a little flurry of tweets. So he's saying Harold Fannin should be a full go today versus the Steelers. I'm seeing Chris Olave listed as questionable from a back injury. He's expected to play. I think if you have Chris Olave, you're playing him. Cardinals receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. listed as questionable with a heel injury. He's expected to play, but his snaps will be managed. So I'm not overall excited to get Marvin Harrison in my lineup. He's more of a wide receiver 3 flex at best. You have Ashton Genty, who I guess this is Schefter's word, whose status has been the source of speculation with his team and the Giants vying for the number 1 pick. He's expected to play today. I think if you have Genty, you can play him as a low-end RB2. And yeah, if he catches passes, he'll get you those PPR points. Let me see what else I got for you from Schefter. 49ers news. They played a night. So they play the Bears Sunday Night Football tonight. They're saying George Kittle unlikely to play tonight, and Ricky Pearsall is likely to play. So I guess you're playing Juwan Jennings if you have him. Obviously, no George Kittle. Could be better things for Ricky Pearsall, but again, wide receiver 3 flex for Pearsall seems to make sense. He's not really a must start. And then I'm going to go to the underdog here and see if we have any of those early game active inactives yet. And good morning to Frosty and Double Tap. I see your comments in there. I'll get to those shortly. I hope everyone's having a lovely holiday weekend. Marvin Harrison officially active, Olave officially active, Dylan Sampson active for the Browns as well as Harold Fannin. So Sampson's an interesting guy. I think he is probably a mid to low end RB2, and I do feel pretty good about him getting the volume today, but they have Raheem Sanders and Travion Williams. So I'm not quite sure how the rotation of the running backs are going to be today in Cleveland. I would rank Sampson as the highest guy for me. And then there's Ted McMillan active for week 17. It looks pretty good there. And what else do we got here? I'm going to answer a couple questions and then we'll hit refresh on some feeds here. Frosty, we need 3 Pitts, Burden, Ramondre, Hendo. I think Pitts has got to be in your lineup. I know he's playing the Rams tomorrow night, but he's just been so good. I mean, outside of Trey McBride, he's probably the next highest ranked tight end for me. So I let Kyle Pitts tomorrow night. I think Burden is the one that I am feeling pretty good about tonight in that game against the 49ers. He's back and he's healthy. He was removed from the injury report, so I don't have any questions on that ankle. When I was looking at the DraftKings game line stuff in the props, they basically have him catching 4 to 5 passes, and then I took his over 50 yards today. So I like him in a full PPR. I think Ramondre is probably the one that I'm least excited about. This game could be a blowout, and I would bet on Henderson making a big play or two versus Ramondre having big plays. So I'm probably benching Ramondre here, and the fact that Henderson was able to clear and all the reports this week were pretty positive, I'm going to go with Mr. Henderson over Ramondre. So we'll bench Ramondre there. And yeah, happy championship day to everybody. This is one of the first years where I don't have any championships available. My best team actually came in the Football Guys Bowl, and I was doing really, really good. I was in the top 5 of their entire contest. And then last night and Christmas Day just didn't go as good as it had been the last couple of weeks. But no championships for me this year, man. It stinks. And good morning to Kells. Pick 3, Brian Thomas Jr., Parker Washington, Alec Pierce, Emeka Egbuka. I think the one that we are pretty excited about over here is going to be Alec Pierce. He did kind of perk up last weekend with Phillip Rivers. I think he caught 2 touchdowns, if that sounds right. So Pierce excites me, and I don't have a ton of faith in the passing game over there, but it looks like Alec Pierce might be a fun start. So I'm thinking Alec Pierce. I'm probably playing Parker Washington over Brian Thomas Jr. at this point. And then I don't know what to do with Emeka Egbuka. So I'm going to go Parker and Alec Pierce as my top 2 guys. Man, Egbuka versus Brian Thomas Jr. BTJ just has not been reliable at any point this season. But I want to see. I think he had a touchdown against the Colts a few weeks back when they played. against the Colts. He went 3 for 87. So he's a big play guy. And Mika Egbuka really has not shown us anything of late. I'm probably going to go with both Jags right now. The Bucs don't have a ton of confidence for me on offense. They're playing Miami, which I like, but I am not super into Mika Egbuka, who hasn't scored like double-digit fantasy points in like 2 months. It seems like he's still ranked pretty highly here. Where is Amika? And when I was doing my reports he only caught one pass for 40 yards last week. It looks like Jalen McMillan is playing more snaps than him. So I kind of view Egbuka as the wide receiver 4. He's probably the odd man out for me in this question. So I'll go with the Jags receivers, Alec Pierce, and then I'm going to bench Amika Egbuka. Again, he's got one double-digit game in his last 6, 2 in his last 10. So we'll go and bench Egbuka here. And then Henderson or Jalen Warren, full PPR. I do like Jalen Warren today. It is a tougher matchup on paper, just going up against the Cleveland Browns, but I do think the Steelers are in control of this game. But I'm going to go Henderson, man. That big playability against one of the worst teams in the league, the Jets. The Patriots are just going to probably have a really fun day today. So I'm going to go Travion Henderson. If it's sometimes there's a ceiling versus floor question. And if you're projected to win and you just want to play the safe play, it's probably Jalen Warren, but I'm going to go for the ceiling here with my guy, Travion Henderson. The current starting lineup, Superflex, full PPR. We got Bo Nix, Chase Brown, Rico, Sutton, Jaden Reed, Adonai Mitchell, Loveland, Flex, Bijan, Tyler Shuck, Lions D, Cam Little. Okay. Taysom and Waller on the bench as well. Would you make changes? Taysom Hill. I might play Taysom Hill over Loveland. And I still like it. Loveland. He's been pretty decent in the last, month and a half or so. But just Colston, Loveland versus Taysom Hill. I think I'm going to have Taysom Hill ranked a little bit higher. I like, again, Loveland. The last few games he's got 3 or 4 catches in pretty much every game going back to week 7 here. So he does have that, 5 to 8 point floor. I'm going with Taysom Hill here. I don't have a ton of faith in Darren Waller, but it could be a Waller day today. We just saw Kyle Pitts light up that Bucs D a few weeks back for that monster game. So yeah, I'm kind of feeling the 2 tight ends, man. You could move Bijan up to Rico Dowdle's spot here. And then I would probably put Taysom Hill at tight end. And then if you want to flex one, I don't hate Darren Waller over Loveland today. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move Bijan up to running back 2, even though, they play Monday night. We can bench Rico Dowdle. We just don't have a ton of faith in that run game right now in Chuba. And it's technically a tougher matchup on paper for the Seahawks today. And then I'm going to leave Loveland in there, and I'll go Loveland and Taysom Hill would be my 2 options. And yeah, I saw that note earlier as well in the week where they want to get him involved and all that stuff. But sometimes it's like, their own coaching staff last week, I'm trying to pull up the numbers here just to make sure I'm not talking crazy talk, but out of 30 routes available from Tampa Bay's game last week, Egbuka only ran 15. So he was just a halftime player last week. And Jalen McMillan actually ran 4 more routes than him. So Egbuka was wide receiver 4 in this game. He only had 2 targets. And sure, they can try and force some things here. But if he's the number 4 receiver, that concerns me. I think I'm going to stick with Brian Thomas Jr., Parker Washington, because they're going to be I know they're going to be on the field as 2 of the lead receivers in Jacksonville, along with Jacoby Myers. So to me, it's just an odd man out game for Egbuka here. And yeah, just the Taysom Hill stuff. I think he was like plus 200 to score a touchdown. Where is Taysom Hill? And just the thing that I like about Taysom is you have so many outs to get your fantasy points with him. He caught 4 for 36 last week. He also had some rushing numbers last week. And then the fact that he threw a touchdown, you literally have so many ways for him to be valuable for us in fantasy. And I know it's just been one game that he's been like this, but with all the injuries to running backs and things like that, he's kind of their RB1, honestly. If I just look at those notes from last week. Yeah, Taysom Hill led the team with rushing attempts last week. 11 carries, 4 receptions. He threw the touchdown pass. Estime and Evan Hall each got 5 carries. Taysom Hill got 11. So basically you can start a lead back at tight end and then get receptions and maybe a passing touchdown out of it. I think that excites me. And I don't know, just the way Taysom Hill was fired up last week after the game, I think they're going to continue to use him. But I'm going to hit refresh on my feeds and see if anything else has come through from the active and inactive lists or any other notes. We do have some weather to watch today, but I'm not overly concerned about it. I'm in the Midwest here and it's rainy, so expect rain. It looks like Arizona, Cincinnati, slight chance of rain, but it's warm. It's 66 degrees there. Seattle, Carolina's got a slight chance of rain. Pittsburgh and Cleveland has slight chance of thunderstorms. New Orleans and Tennessee, slight chance of rain. Jacksonville, Colts. That game could be kind of fun, fast-paced. It's in a dome. You have Tampa Bay and Miami. That game also could be a lot of high scoring in there. I know we just talked about Ibuka, but it's 80 degrees and clear there. So I do like Tampa Bay's offense a little bit. Tampa Bay's defense has been really bad too, by the way. The last 5 weeks, I think they're giving up the most fantasy points per game. We have the Jets at New York. That game's outside. Chance of rain there. Giants and Raiders, man, the 101 Bowl is kind of fun today. We'll see what happens. I think the Giants win that one. I think the Raiders, they want the number 1 pick a little bit more. And then Philly Buffalo, probably the crown jewel of the day games today, saying definite rain, 40 degrees. And then we have clear skies tonight in San Francisco. So a little bit of a weather, rainy day going on. But overall, I think we should still have some good football. And man, it's always bittersweet. This is the last Sunday live stream of the year. So I want to thank everyone for hanging out with me this season. I don't do week 18 content, so I'll probably take that week off, but I might start doing some random videos. I got to do my year in review and look at my projections and things like that. So I will probably take week 18 off and start to get some more different type of videos, maybe some dynasty videos come in soon. And hey, good morning to Ron. Good luck today, my guy. Bretton Stranger, Wan'Dale Robinson for flex with the tight end premium. The tight end premium. Bretton Strange last week. Where is he? I mean, he had 7 targets last week. He caught 5 of them. He got a touchdown. Bretton Strange has been pretty good since he's returned. I think he's kind of like a fringe top 5 tight end today. And I just want to look at his reception totals. I'm going to pull up the old sports book here and see what his numbers are looking like. I just, after what the Giants did last week, man, I have so much to worry about with my Giants. And Bretton Strange, I don't know, since he returned week 12, he had 5 catches, 3, 1, and 5. So 1 bad game, but for the most part, you can bank on 3 to 5 catches in this one. And if I just go to, I'm just pulling up DraftKings here to see what his numbers look like. His touchdown odds today are plus 215, so not crazy. Like, he's got decent odds for a touchdown today. And then if I look at his receiving yards here and his reception total, they have him at 3.5 receptions and slightly over on that. So we're going to give him 4 catches, which with the tight end premium, that does entice me a little bit, and about 38 yards. So 4 catches, that's 6 points right there. You can tack on, almost 40 yards here. Wan'Dale Robinson, he kind of is the only receiving game over there in a game that nobody wants to win, but someone's got to win. It'd be funny if that game went into overtime and it ended up tying. But Wan'Dale Robinson's plus 210 for a score today. His lines, they have him at about 57.5 yards, and they have him going over 5.5 catches today, Ron. So minus 128 to go over 5.5 catches. So they're giving him 6 for 60, which is about 12 points. I think we did the math there on Strange, and it was about 10 points. So it's going to come down to who scores a touchdown. I think Wandale's floor, if we just throw out last weekend, I think you probably wouldn't be having this conversation. And I'm going to lean Wandale Robinson today. I do want to look at Strange, though. What did he do against the Colts? Back in week 14 against the Colts, Strange only went 3 for 27 on 6 targets. I'm going to lean Wandale here, man. And I appreciate you. Fantastic. That's my favorite thing, man. When I see people have success, I love it. I love it. So congrats on making it. It's hard to win a championship, but to continue to make the championships is pretty impressive. So that is good consistency. So thank you, Ron. I'm going Wandale Robinson. Oh man, that's scary. But against the Raiders, no Max Crosby today. I think we see the Giants look pretty fun. I'm looking at my Wandale Robinson numbers right now. Again, if we remove last week, Wandale 5 for 54 and a touchdown. He did go 7 for 34 week 13 against the Patriots, 9 for 156 and a touchdown against the Lions. I do feel pretty good about Wandale. Jameer DK. So the Tennessee Titans have been playing some good football lately. Their offense the last month or so has started to be pretty competitive, and a lot of that is finally boiling it down and figuring out who to get the ball to. And I think if you're looking at the tight ends and Jameer DK and sometimes Alec Ayomanor makes some plays, but it's been the running of Tony Pollard that has really stabilized of late. And I'm looking at DK's numbers here. He went 3 for 40 and a touchdown last week. The week before, though, 4 for 17, only 5 points in that game. He's kind of on every other weekend where he seems to pop and get the touchdown. So he could debunk that trend today, but the targets look good. 7, 4, 8, 5, and 5. It's tough. He's either 3 points or 15 points is what it looks like. So I don't have a ton of great feelings on him. I do like that he has return game eligibility. If he does pop one for a touchdown, that does help. But I probably would need to know who else you have for options. Again, I don't have a ton of confidence in DK, but he is starting to look like a player that Tennessee can rely on for the future as, their number 2, number 3 receiver. They have, I'm looking at the DraftKings lines for DK real quick. They have DK they have him under 3.5 catches. So they're going to give him about 3 catches, and they have him at just about 28.5 yards. So that's that 5 to 6 point floor we just talked about. Again, I don't have a ton of faith in him today. Plus 255 for a touchdown. He's actually the number 2 Titan to score in terms of odds. But I don't know. I probably wouldn't mess with Jameer DK today. Don't have a ton of faith in him. Yeah, I think the tight end is the way to go. And with Colston Loveland, like I like his numbers from a consistency standpoint. Like I would feel better about him getting his 3, 4, 5 catches. And Loveland's been, I mean, especially since Odunze's been hurt and Burden's missing time, Loveland's been pretty good. Again, he's had 3 or more catches going all the way back to week 7. 3, 4, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 6, 3, 3. So he's kind of locked into that nice, 3 for 30, 3 for 40 floor. I'll tell you what, though, I kind of like Darren Waller more than Colston Loveland today. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're one of the worst teams. When I ran the fantasy points allowed stat for the last 5 weeks, it was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers who were the clear worst. And I know we don't have a ton of faith over there in the Miami offense today. And Waller last week, 3 for 40 for Waller. So kind of the same thing as Colston Loveland. Let me see if I can find some DraftKings numbers here for Waller. DraftKings has Darren Waller at 33.5 receiving yards, and they also have him at basically 3 catches. So 3 for 30 for Waller and plus 240 for a touchdown. Let me just take a peek here at the Bears tight end, Colston Loveland tonight. Loveland plus 215 for a touchdown, and his over-unders. All right, so they're giving Loveland 39.5 yards, so you have better yards there. And then the receptions, they got him over 3.5. So I think I'm going to stick with, I still don't hate Rico Dowdle. He seems to always kind of come through when we don't expect it. And he is the highest Carolina Panther odd to score today. So maybe the best thing to do is just hope and pray, because Dowdle's been catching passes, which has a nice floor for him. And then if they do get in and he does get a touchdown, so maybe the best thing to do is to play Taysom Hill at tight end and leave Rico at running back 2 and leave Bijan at the flex. I think I might be coming back around to that idea. Oh, yeah, there's still going to be a huge share load between the Steelers running backs. I mean, last week they kind of split this down the middle 50-50. Gainwell actually played 4 more snaps than Jalen Warren, and Gainwell runs more routes, 25-17 for routes last week. Warren's still going to lead the team in carries is how I expect it. So it's purely almost a 50-50 split. Warren gets more carries, Gainwell gets more passing down work, and this will be the engine of the offense today, especially without DK Metcalf. And I do like a little bit of Adam Thielen today. I think Thielen's a busy receiver for Rodgers today. Saints or Patriots defense? I think you got to go with the Patriots defense here. I still don't have a ton of trust in the New Orleans Saints. I think their offense is playing good ball right now. But they're going to probably allow 20 points or, something like that from the Titans. And the Titans have just been playing pretty good ball lately, the last 3 games. I think the last 3 games, they've scored more than 25 points in all 3 of those. So I have more trust in the Patriots defense today. I know it's in New York, but it's the Jets are a tough offense right now. And then the Titans at least have a little bit of faith in what they're doing. So I'm going to go Patriots today. And good morning to Harris. Warren or Rico? I think in this one, I like Jalen Warren a little bit more than Rico. Yeah, I'm going to go Jalen Warren here. These guys are kind of in the same tier for me this week, but I would put Jalen Warren ahead of Rico Dowdle. Just, I'm locking in, hopefully 15. It's the Browns. I expect a lot of running today from these guys. So I'm hoping for, 15 carries and maybe 2 or 3 catches out of Jalen Warren today. And, if they do get in close, Warren can close. He had 2 touchdowns against the Detroit Lions last week, and I know one of them was a long one. But Warren has been good lately. You got that safe 2 to 3 catch floor and double-digit carries against a bad team here that the Steelers should control. So I'm going to go Jalen Warren here. I just want to look at the Rico Dowdle numbers real quick. Where are the rushing yards? All right, they got Rico at 46.5 rushing yards today. And again, he's plus 190 to score. So we got about 50 yards from him as a runner. And they're giving him about 14 as a receiver, it looks like, with 2 catches. They got him just on. Yeah, so they got him about 2 for 14. So that's 3.5 points there, plus the 50 yards. So they got him about 8 to 10 points for a floor without a touchdown. But I still think Jalen Warren's kind of where you want to be. But if anyone's got any more questions, please get them in. Otherwise, I'm going to get out of here for the day. Enjoy the Championship Sunday. We do have, a fun one tomorrow night as well. We'll see what happens with the Rams and the Falcons. And we got one more here, Jackson Dart or Jacoby Brissett. I think Jacoby Brissett has been tremendous all season long. But I'm going Jackson Dart. I think I'm going Jackson Dart today. I don't know. It's a vibe thing. I think the Giants win this one today. against the Raiders. Brissett's obviously the safer option at Cincinnati. I think that game's got a ton of implied points. So maybe we do that. There's like 53.5 points in this Cincinnati Arizona game today. So I'm going to say Jacoby Brissett gives you the safest floor and also just as high of a ceiling as Jackson Dart has had. And he does have his receivers healthy and Trey McBride. So I think it's going to be Jacoby Brissett for me there, Kels. Alrighty. Yeah, let's stick with Rico then. Double tap in your lineup as your RB2, and you can flex Bijan. Smith or Jacoby Myers? I'm going Jacoby Myers over Devonta Smith here. Jacoby's just been rock steady, and the Jags offense has been humming. There is some rain today in that Buffalo Eagles game, but I think Jacoby Myers has a pretty safe floor baked in and good touchdown odds today. I'm going Jacoby here. Yeah, only 70 yards and a touchdown for Rico would be kind of cool. And I mean, if he doesn't hit him today, he hits it next week, right? So I still think Rico RB2 flex Bijan's probably where I'm going to be at with you. But I still think Jalen Warren. I would still play Jalen Warren over Rico Dowdle if that is Harris's question. But anyways, guys, I'm going to get out of here for the day. Good luck. Hopefully, you guys rake in some fantasy championships tonight, tomorrow, and thank you for hanging out with me this 2025 season. I appreciate you guys. Love everybody for hanging out, and good luck, guys. Thanks.